Maria, and I'm doing a question and answering interview today. Just to let you guys know a little bit about how I got started in the acting industry out here in Houston, Texas.
Guys, John Maziak here, local actor, Houston, Texas.
What's up, everybody? This is Roman Bryan here with a quick Q&A about my personal experience here in the acting business.
Hi, I'm Vicki Dempsey Burns from Houston, and today I'm going to answer some questions about professional film.
Hello, I'm Sarah Wyckoff, and I'm going to answer some questions for you because I know you were dying to know about these things about me. So,
Oh, that's a very hard question because you look up to a lot of people, anybody who is in the acting industry, you just want to be like them or you want to be where they're at. So for that question, I want to say at first it was Jennifer Lopez, because ever since I was younger, there was a time when I wanted to be a backup dancer. So I looked up to her a lot because she was such a great dancer. She still is a great dancer. So I want to say in the entertainment industry, Jennifer Lopez was somebody who I looked up to and I wanted to be like her as far as the dancing side.
Growing up, my parents used to watch the old legends, and I got hooked on James Cagney very young, and Humphrey Bogart, and Edward G. Robinson.
influence growing up. I thought about that for a long time because I'm not really sure that I'm grown up yet. So, my first answer was the Muppets, but I realized they're not human beings. But I did like them. I do like them. I still like them. And then I moved over to Ginger from Gilligan's Island because I loved Gilligan's Island, and she's like a totally cool movie star, right? With a cool dress. Like, she looked good, and she was on an island, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna say Ginger. And, if you're asking me about childhood, well, then that kind of seems appropriate.
Say a lot of the child actors, a lot of actors that were my age at the time. I used to watch a lot of Nickelodeon shows like All That, Keenan and Kel, Cousin Skeeter and stuff like that. And I would see kids my age doing the acting, and I just thought that it was something I could do. I would really be entertained by seeing these kids out there on the big screen, and I just knew that, if they could do it, I could probably do it.
Well, when I was growing up, I was always interested in acting and singing, and I started out auditioning for little plays and things when I was in school, and then I went to the Alley Theater's merry-go-round, their children's school of acting when I was a teenager, and I did that for 3 years. And then, so my biggest influences growing up were always teachers who encouraged me to continue to sing, and that, I had a little bit of talent in that area. And as far as the industry, it was always from watching TV. I loved Carol Burnett, watched that show all the time, and I learned how to be big and broad and funny, I think, like Carol.
So my biggest entertainment industry influence growing up, man, somebody you wouldn't even believe, DJ Jazzy Jeff. Now, if you don't know who he is, DJ Jazzy Jeff was the DJ for who we know today as Will Smith. Back then, he was called the Fresh Prince. He also came out with a show called The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he brought actually DJ Jazzy Jeff onto the show as Jazz. The guy that he would throw out, and Uncle Phil throw him out, and hit the porch outside or whatever. Man, big influence on me, man, because I wanted to be a DJ. And the reason I wanted to be a DJ was because I went to Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince concert, and I saw Jazzy Jeff doing his thing on the turntables, mixing and scratching and cutting it up and everything. And I was like, man, I want to do that too. So when I got me a pair of turntables and I started DJing, and I followed Jazzy Jeff over the years, and he's been a huge influence, man. He's, executive producer in the film and TV industry. He's still producing music, man. Great guy.
For that, I actually grabbed two of the movies that I have, which have always been one of my favorites. From the Beetlejuice, I would have to say, I myself am strange and unusual. I myself am strange and unusual. So yeah, that's a line from Lydia when she's trying to relate to the fact that they're dead people, and she too, that's why she can see dead, because she's strange and unusual. So that would be for that. And then for Grease, I would have to say it would be Frenchie when she says, the only man a girl can look up to is her daddy. And I've got to say that because it is true. You can't trust any man and anything you need. Your dad is the only one who's going to be there for you and not asking for anything back in return. Great movie. Watch it if you haven't.
Let's see. My favorite childhood movie, first of all, is probably Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one. There's a few lines I like from there. There's a part where Casey Jones and Raphael, they get in a fight at the beginning. And Casey Jones, he jumps out on these two crooks. And he's like, they were like, what was that? What was that? He was like, that's a crime, you purse snatching pukes. I just always thought that was funny. And then there was a line towards the end where they finally meet up with Shredder. And Shredder jumps out on them, you know, about to fight him and everything. And they're looking, they're like, who or what is that? And one of them's like, I don't know, but I bet he never has to look for a can opener. And I don't know. That just had me, it's always had me cracking up, you know. Even.
Of course, my favorite childhood movie was The Wizard of Oz. And there's no place like home. The reason that was my favorite movie is because it was colorful. It was the first time I'd see something go from black and white and ordinary to this beautiful, colorful magic land with munchkins and beautiful costumes and flowers and horses that turned different colors. And it was magical. And I wanted to be a part of that film. I wanted to go to Munchkin Land when I was a little girl. It was just, it looked like an incredible adventure.
Top of my head would be Blazing Saddles, Madeline Kahn. Tell me, Tex, are you in show business? Then get your freaking feet off my stage.
Can't think of any lines, but I'm thinking the hills are alive with the sound of music. And also do re mi, or oh my god, a needle pulling thread, fa, a note to follow, so tea, a drink with jam and bread, that will bring us back to do re mi fa so la ti. Okay, they're not words from the actual film, but they remind me of the movie, and it's from the movie.
You remember Lean on Me with Professor Clark at the East Side High School? You know, lean on me, we are not strong. You know, that song, everything. Okay, anyway, Professor Clark, he was crazy, man. He went in there to clean up this East Side High School, and man, he put some chains on the doors to keep the drug dealers out and keep the students in during the day, but the fire marshal came for him. Fire marshal couldn't get in. Fire marshal told him, I'm coming back for you, Joe Clark. I'm coming back for you. Joe Clark walked away. He was telling his assistant principal. He said, you know what he's saying right now? Black bastard can't kick me out. You know where he's saying it? Out in the parking lot. My favorite line.
I don't know. Like I say, I've always used to watch kids my age do the acting thing. And as I grew up, you know, I would still watch other actors and, you know, relate to my age. And I guess, you know, one time I'm just, you know, watching TV and just thinking to myself, like, man, I know I can do that. It seems easy to me. I mean, if anybody could do it, I know I could do it. I don't see why not. And then one time I saw an opportunity to be taught acting, like a little acting workshop. and it was offered for free. So, I decided to take that class. And we ended up having to do little skits with the other students of the class and everything. And it was like at the end of the class, like at the end of my skit and everything, I was just getting a different reaction from than everybody else was getting. And it was just like, people congratulating me, shaking my hand as I go back to my seat, people seeing me after class and telling me how good it was. And I just felt like it was a different reaction than everybody else was getting. And I was like, man, you know what? Maybe I got something. Maybe I can, what I'm saying, ride this whole wave. But I just pretty much took it and ran with it.
So I go back to question number one with Jennifer Lopez, but I'm going to change it a little bit with this question. So throughout all my high school years, I was always in dance class. I even joined a dance crew, and we would dance hip hop. So I want to say that somebody who's influenced me hugely, majorly, for like the past 2-3 years, ever since I decided that acting is something I want to do, I want to say that Selena Gomez has been a huge influence on me, because she's somebody who came out of Texas, a little town outside of Dallas. I'm not too sure which one, but it's somewhere around there. So I want to say she influenced me, because it makes me believe that dreams really can come true, as like Jennifer Lopez says too, she made it out of the Bronx. So it is possible. And then also somebody else who I've been looking up to a lot, and I've been following her on Instagram. Her name is Vanessa Vasquez, and she moved out to LA from Houston, and she's been out there for maybe approximately 7 years. And she's been on the Hulu originals called East Los High. She's been in a few movies that are on Netflix. She even came out as a guest star in an episode called The Brave. I believe that's what it's called. And to me, I'm just like, wow, she was so close to home. If somebody like her can do it, then why can't we? So definitely, she's another influence of mine that I've recently added. That if they can do it, we obviously can do it. But you just about how determined.
Growing up, I had agents tell me, you need to do more lines, you're a character. Coupled with seeing someone like Pacino, De Niro, and then the comedic timing of Christopher Walken, I was hooked.
Well, I would have to say it's my teachers and my husband. I started off, like I said, doing lots of little things, and my teachers were encouraging. And then I went to college, and I earned a BFA in acting. Uh, and so those teachers were very influential. And then later I got married and had 2 boys and a husband that had a massive stroke and eventually got cancer. So I had to put everything on the back burner and take care of my family. My husband was sick 10 years, and I was his caregiver, and tried to make him as happy as I could. And so after he passed away, I just realized how short life is. He was a fairly young man, and um, life was short. So I could either sit at home in my chair and watch TV and eat bonbons and get fat and cry, or I could go out and pursue the things that I wanted to do or I want to do before I pass away. So the first thing on my bucket list was film acting. So I saw that a film actor friend had some classes, and so I just signed up and entered into the class, probably the oldest person there, and was not ashamed. And I've learned so much, and it was so challenging to be a film actor, so different from stage acting, and I had a lot to learn. So I just did it. And I want to say to anyone else that's in their twilight years that you can do it if you want to. You just make a way. You see opportunities and you go for it. And so there's got to be some parts for older women somewhere. So I'm out there looking.
And I'm gonna tell you, my biggest influence to be an actor was my son Adrian. When I lost my job in banking after 17 years, I had been my son's manager. He was acting at the time. I was also the manager for another young lady who was in Atlanta. Her name is Danny B. I was experienced with getting gigs and booking gigs for them. I had been on a few gigs with my son where we were like a father-son duo. Really wasn't serious about acting, but nonetheless, when I lost my job, he said, "Dad, you know you hate banking. Why don't you just start acting?" I said, "Man, I can't do that, man. I gotta make some money, man. I gotta, do some things." And I mean, I'm in my 40s now, bro. I can't just run off and try acting. He said, "Bro, you got this." And I couldn't believe it. I was taking advice from an 18-year-old about my life, but he was right, and it's worked out well for me. He was my biggest influence when it comes to being in the entertainment industry.
You to go out and be happy with being an actor. Don't pursue it for the money. You'll be disappointed. There are only a top few that make the big money, and they were lucky. They're not any more talented than you are. They were in the right film and made the right choices. But you are an actor, and you can go out and enjoy every minute of it because it's it's just important in life to do what you enjoy doing, whether it's acting or behind the scenes in film. So good luck, or as we say in the theater, break a leg.